Simply, post-secondary education costs a lot of money, and for those that borrow, it can become a heavy burden, not just for them, but also for their families. It's been a decade since Natalie Whaley attended Performing Arts College, and she has the student debt to prove it.
Very difficult to pay it off, and you really have to learn how to budget, and when you're fresh out of school, it's difficult to get a job that's you're able to cover your living expenses and your debt payments.
Whaley is typical of a growing number of Canadian college-age students.
A little bit over half of all students graduate with some form of student debt, and of those students, actually, around 166,000 are unable to make a minimum payment on their loan even after they graduate.
Higher tuition fees, a tougher student job market, rising living costs. Some of the reasons young people are going to the bank or government for help.
It's just costing more and they don't have the funds to do it.
Those who don't qualify for government help often turn to banks for lines of credit, putting themselves and often their family on the hook.
If the child, upon graduating, doesn't necessarily have the income to pay back or the wherewithal to pay back that loan or service the loan, it's going to fall on the cosigner or the guarantor, which in most cases is the parent.
Banks offer credit lines as a way to make lifelong customers. But with typical debts of $20,000 to $40,000 for undergraduate degrees, students frequently have to forego other consumer purchases down the line.
Such as buying a house, buying a car, starting a family, starting a business, because who wants to take on an additional risk when you've already got something you've got to pay off?
As debts go, credit counselors say education is a relatively good place to spend money, provided you do everything you can to minimize the debt.
Live lean. You don't necessarily need to be living high off the hog.
It was definitely worth the debt, but it was difficult to start paying it off.
A long payback for Whaley, who says she should have the money paid off later this year.
I'm very much looking forward to throwing myself a debt-free party.
Experts suggest earning as much as you can in the summer if you can, working as much as reasonable during the school year, exploiting every chance for grants, scholarships, and bursaries. And as Jeff Schwartz says, living on as little as possible so you'll have the least amount of debt possible when it's payback time.